Starting lineup for the Dodgers, leading off D.B. Lopes, batting second Bill Russell, then comes Dusty Baker, ever dangerous. After him, steady going Steve Garvey, then the power man Ron Say, and then Pedro Guerrero, the power hitting youngster. Kenny Landreau, the big insertion, you've heard about that. Steve Yeager, who's great in postseason play, and then Bert Hooton, the defense, Keith.
Take the field. I mentioned a moment ago, Bert Hooton has been the Dodgers stopper. He's a big man in their pitching rotation. Now the Yankees are in position defensively, and we see Bob Watson, whose step was a bit lighter today after his first World Series hit. First time he's been in the series last night, big 3-run homer. Over at second base, you have Willie Randolph, who's been dropped down to the batting order tonight. The shortstop for New York remains Larry Milburn. Larry very steady last night, made one fine play. Of course, the big defensive star last night was this man, Greg Nettles. He does it every year, it seems. Moving to the outfield, Dave Winfield, who had a marvelous throw out of the corner to get Ron Say last night, trying to stretch a single. Over in center field is Jerry Mumphrey, who controls all of that big acreage out in the middle. And in right field tonight, the biggest change in the New York lineup, it is Oscar Gamble. He's in the lineup because he's a left-handed batter playing right field. Behind the plate, Rick Cerrone doing the catching, and on the mound for the New York Yankees, the sinker bowler Tommy John. Record reflected there. Of course, Tommy left Los Angeles as a free agent and came over to New York, so the Dodgers know it. They know what they have to do against him.
Absolutely correct, Keith. They know him, he knows them. And interesting meeting. There's Tom Lasorda. I was with Tom and my classmate at New York University, the general manager of the Dodgers, Al Campanis, and they agreed, as you look at the dimensions of the stadium, that yes, indeed, Tommy John can be bunted on. Jim Palmer had it exactly right, and Tommy Lasorda admitted it in the pregame show. So look for some bunting tonight, and look for the Dodgers trying to find ways to negate the third baseman's greatness, Greg Nettles. There are the umpires. Keith.
And it's a National Leaguer back at the plate tonight, calling the balls and strikes. Terry Cooney, American League at first. Doug Harvey, National League second. Dick Stello, National League third. Larry Barnett, American League down the left field line. And Rich Garcia, American League down the right field line. We're ready to play baseball as Davy Lopes steps in game number 2. And the first pitch breaks off inside for ball 1. The temperature is just marvelous for this time of the year. It's been a beautiful day. There's one on the outside corner to make it 1-1.
One could see autumn sitting careless on the granary floor, in the words of Keats.
2 balls and 1 strike.
Position
Nettles is short at third, and Watson is short at first. Obviously, in New York's thinking along the same lines as the Dodgers had to be thinking, because there's no question but Tommy he's not bad, but he is not the quickest man off the mound in fielding the ball. And Lopes represents good speed, but Davis strokes it to center, and he runs Mumphrey back about 15 feet to haul down a well-hit drive. That ball was up a little bit.
Well, you're going to see that, Keith.
Number 18.
The key to beating Tommy John is to make him throw strikes. That count was 3-1. He had to throw a strike. He threw a belt high one, and Lopes hit the ball hard. The Dodgers hit the ball hard last night, but so far most of them are getting caught.
Interesting you say that. Lou Piniella said, you know, they were hitting the ball very hard.
Russell lays one down. It goes down the chalk and crosses. Foul ball. This is the 33rd birthday for Bill Russell.
There's your bunt. Look for it early. That's really a storyline going into the game. It may change during the course of the game, but Greg playing in close. Notice, Jim?
Well, he has to respect it. When you bunt before the first strike, what it does, it gives you the opportunity maybe to hit a ball by Nettles. If you do it with one strike on you and you bunt and the ball goes foul like that, then he's going to play back, because not too many people bunt with 2 strikes. Only the Carews and the people that really know how to bunt well.
Nettles has dropped back now beyond the bag. Now he comes walking back in even with it. Count of 1 strike on Russell. The ball bounces at the plate. This is also the birthday, since we're talking about birthdays, of Billy Russell's 33rd. Whitey Ford's, sorry Whitey, 53rd. Of course, that's kind of nice. That's mine too. And Mickey Mantle yesterday was 50. As a bouncer for Randolph at second. And you've got 2 out.
Mickey Mantle, 50. I don't believe it. Robert Merrill, who sang the anthem the way he always does, so magnificently. Got the thrill of his life, he told me. He had a concert last night in Dallas and flew up on the plane today with Mickey. Said he was like a kid all over again. Merrill, a rabid Yankee fan.
Sure is. Here's Dusty Baker. Breaking pitch, gets the inside corner for a strike. This is for ball 1. Dusty and a couple of other players and their wives leaving the Olympic Stadium in Montreal after the series of the Expos got involved in a scuffle with some people and sprained his right wrist quite severely. But he played last night, played well, and says it feels pretty good today. Two-strike count of the Dodger left fielder. Punch to the right side. Randolph comes scampering across, makes a fine play, and the inning is over. So the Dodgers are done in order by Tommy John after 1/2 inning. No score. Yankees coming up.
Free leading off. Larry Milburn batting second. Dave Winfield third. Oscar Gamble is in there tonight. Reggie still not ready. Greg Nettles, you know all about him. Bob Watson, keep pitching him up and out, and he'll be a star. Rick Cerrone next. Willie Randolph, and finally, Tommy John Keith with the defense.
Of course, Bob Lemon, the Yankee manager, sitting in the dugout. His game plan in order as he looks out to the Dodgers. And at first base, you'll see Steve Garvey, whose bat is a hard one to keep quiet for very long. Over at second base, Davy Lopes. Moving to the shortstop, it is Bill Russell, who had a fine night last night. Over at third is quite a superior third baseman in his own right, Ron Say. Moving to the outfield, Dusty Baker. Into center field now, there is a change for the Dodgers. Kenny Landreau, he knows the acreage here at Yankee Stadium from his time with the Minnesota Twins. He is a skilled center fielder. And Pedro Guerrero, who played in center last night, goes back to more familiar territory, right field. With the left-hander pitching, the catcher remains Steve Yeager, who had a home run to the right side last night. And on the mound, it is Bert Hooton, the Dodger stopper. Now, Hooton, who was the National League Championship Series MVP, 3-0 with an 0.41 earned run average, gave up only 1 earned run in 21 2/3 innings in 3 postseason games. He won the big one when they had to have one against the Astros. He still throws the knuckle curve, which can do a couple of different things. He also throws a hard screwball that breaks the way a screwball would, as you'd expect from a right-hander, down and away from the left-handed batters. The Yankee batting order shuffled some, as you noted, with Jerry Mumphrey going to the leadoff spot. He is a switch hitter and goes up left-handed against the right-hander Hooton. First pitch from Bert is in for a strike. The temperature 61, humidity is comfortable, the wind is mild. Clear skies. The pitch is low. Two balls and 1 strike. I was visiting with Happy, and I called Bob Lemon the unflappable one last night. I'll tell you this. Happy Hooton fits in that category, too.
Well, he said he felt fine. The Dodgers, their 3 starters have been pitching with only 3 days rest rather than normal 4, and he said if his arm feels fine, he doesn't mind doing that.
He, however, walks the leadoff man for New York in the bottom of the first inning. And that will bring up Larry Milburn, who is skilled at putting the ball down. He's a fine bunter. And with that in his mind, Ron Say drifts in at third. Mumphrey has speed. Roll toward the shortstop, Russell. Over for one. Throw back to first by Davy Lopes is not nearly in time, as Mumphrey went rolling into second base. The ball was not hit very sharply, and they could not turn the double play.
Milburn really gets down from the left side in a hurry, as you will see right here. There it was. Thing I like about Hooten, I've known him for years. He's a close personal friend, plays in my golf tournament every year. Forget the knuckle curve, forget everything else. This is a man of character. He will never give in. He throws a knuckle curve, but he will never knuckle under.
Dave Winfield standing at the plate. Ample proof you better get him early. That looked to me like that might have been a knuckle curve that just dove at the plate.
Well, what makes that pitch so difficult to hit is, number one, it really drops and he can make it go both ways, but not too many pitchers throw that in either league. And it's not the type of pitch you get a chance to see very much of.
Milburn edging off first. Pitch is in time.
David hit one last night. They've changed the contours of this stadium within the past decade, as most of you know. But he hit one last night that was caught, Keith, almost in the precise spot where John Frito made the catch on DiMaggio in '47.
Snap throw to first. And Milburn is back. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Yeager will let it go.
Well, not too many catchers can throw with Steve Yeager. When you have him in the game, you're certainly not hurting yourself defensively or offensively.
Not in postseason play. He kills the Yankees, as he proved last night with an opposite field home.
With 1 out, Milburn at first. The pitch to the plate is low, and Yeager comes up with it. The flags around the perimeter of the stadium are virtually still. To second. They get him by a whisker at second. They would not have gotten Winfield at first.
And Keith, as we look at this again, ball sharply hit, troublesome bounce for Ron. You see the drop, and then the quick recovery and throw just in time for the fourth. Bounce throw, but easy for Lopes to corral. In the meantime, coming up, Oscar Gamble, being played by Bob Lemon because of his power, because of the way he came through in the Milwaukee series. Yet one has to wonder, Bobby Mercer on the bench with a lifetime average in the National League against Hooten of .382.
Gets a strike on Oscar.
Remember, Jim, last night we suggested in the first inning with 2 on, 2 out, that Watson's career average betokened that he might knock off the Dodgers starter last night, and indeed he did with a 3-run home run. Jerry Ross.
1 ball and 1 strike as the knuckler floats outside. The coaches, Mike Ferraro at first and Joe Altobelli at third for the New York Yankees. Yeager sets up inside. And the pitch is high and tight to make it 2-1.
Well, that's the book on Oscar Gamble. If he's going up there with one thing in mind, that's to hit the ball into the right field seats here at Yankee Stadium. He's a dead low fastball hitter. The book on him, as the Dodgers see it, is to pitch him high and tight. And I'm surprised he's thrown him 2 out of 3 pitches that are fastballs. I would think he'd be throwing him more knuckle curveballs.
By the way, for the fans out there, Reggie Jackson is very close to ready. There was doubt tonight whether or not Reggie would start. He's taking this day of rest, and then you'll see him when we get to Los Angeles.
With 2 out and a 3-1 count on Gamble. He's walked his second man in the inning.
Up comes Nettles. 9 career home runs against Jim Palmer. Look at the view. Isn't that something? And Jim will tell you, don't throw it up and out to Nettles.
Unless you want to throw home runs. But I think this is the perfect illustration of what Yankee Stadium does to a right-handed pitcher. It was the last pitch to Oscar Gamble. He has a 3-1 count. You expect a fastball, and he threw a knuckle curveball. You pitch a little bit differently in this ballpark. I mean, for Hooten to win, he's going to have to throw that breaking ball over when he gets behind. And there you saw a good hard fastball away.
Normally is not in that 90-mile range. He's up in the high 80s. But after he's fed you an assortment of screwballs and knuckle curves, it looks pretty quick when it comes in. Foul back to make it strike 2. Edge to Hooten. Nettles, a dead pull hitter, has hit more home runs in reformed or remodeled Yankee Stadium than anybody. And you can see how tough Hooten has been on the road this year. He's been pretty tough at home, too. He's had a good season. He started off on his way to a terrific year, and then came the strike. The pitch is high, make it 1-2. Nettles last night, I thought, just missed 2 home runs.
He thought certainly he had the first one. Remember, Keith? He stood there and watched it. There's Ginger Nettles. Briggs. Lady.
The 1-2 pitch. Foul back. Count hold. Winfield is at second. Gamble at first. That long gliding stride of Mr. Winfield moves him swiftly. So there is speed at second base. Again. Rick Mundy is the man who hit the home run over the center field fence in the 5th game at Montreal.
There's a great scene in the clubhouse, Keith, involving Mundy and Lasorda. I'll tell you about it in a moment, because this is an important moment, even this early in the game.
With 2 out and 2 on. Fouled off again.
By the way, you call Greg a dead pull hitter, and on balance, you're right. But remember, it was Greg who went with the pitch and hit the base-clearing double against Oakland that set up the Yankees' initial victory over the A's, Jim.
Well, that's true, but he does basically go up there to try to pull the ball. Occasionally, you'll make a good pitch, maybe get it up a little bit out over the plate, and you'll hit the ball to left center field.
Inside corner call, strike 3. Nettle walks away, and Greg didn't say one word. Good pitch by Hooten, and so the Yankees threaten, but they strand 2. And after 1 complete inning of play in game number 2 of this 1981 World Series at Yankee Stadium, we have no score. The Dodgers will be sending the middle of the order to the plate in the top of the 2nd. Tomorrow is a day of travel. Friday, the matchups there. Two brilliant rookie pitchers. Righetti, the left-hander for New York, and Fernando Valenzuela for the Dodgers. His victory in that decisive game in Montreal. Now he comes into a ball game that is even heavier, if you will. I suspect those two youngsters will wear the weight well.
For a bottom of the first inning, Keith, in my opinion, that was heavy. Hooten's getting Greg without a murmur. There's Dave Righetti, maybe even thinking about tomorrow. He is so very young. But that was heavy, getting Nettles on a called third strike. Over the inside corner, knee high.
Here's Garvey, followed by Ron Cey and Pedro Guerrero. And a breaking pitch for a strike to Garvey. Nettles is well back at third. There's your bunt. Nettles on a bounce. His throw just in time. If Steve had been a free safety instead of a cornerback, he'd have had enough speed to get there. He misses by a half step.
But I think the point is well taken that if he had made even a decent bunt, which that wasn't, he would have been safe.
That's true. What we pointed out before the game, and even in our interview with manager Lasada about how they were going to bunt, try to negate Nettles in some way, shows you two things. A, they are adjusting or trying to.
Pitch to Cey is outside.
And B, Nettles is perhaps too much on their minds. Is that possible, Jim?
After last night's game,
Another chance for Nettles.
He is so tired of looking at Nettles. Did you hear him on Robinson and on Cox and on Clete Boyer and even throwing in Honus Wagner and Pie Traynor and Freddie Lindstrom? He's had enough of that guy.
Guerrero is at the plate. And he hits it over the mound toward the shortstop, Milberg. So, Tommy John gets the first 6 Dodgers in order. And after an inning and a half, there's no score.
There is just one place where you can go from high school to flight school. The Army.
All that you can be. Oh, yeah. Keep on reaching. Keep on growing.
Today's Army has more pilots than the largest airline.
All that you can be.
not bad for a rookie.
'Cause we need you in the Army.
You know, you can stop an air leak for pennies with duct tape. This whole roll costs less than $2. It will easily pay for itself with the energy it saves. Now, there are other conservation measures we hear about. The question is, will they pay for themselves with the energy they save? If you'd like more information, it's in the Conservation Payback book, free from Shell. Come to Shell for answers.
Quick, where's my one-step?
What? What's happening?
Nothing, this party's dead.
You're laughing?
They're laughing at the hors d'oeuvres.
Oh,
I got it.
and I worked so hard.
Smile, everybody.
Why, is the party over?
No, it just started.
Hey, everybody looks happy.
I thought cameras didn't lie.
Polaroid one-step brings a dead party to life in seconds.
More hors d'oeuvres, everybody.
They're funnier than the pictures.
Out. Everybody out. Polaroid means fun.
With a one-step.
Bob Watson, Rick Cerrone, Willie Randolph. Cerrone, been the center of a great deal of conversation around this city. Before the game, Howard talked to him.
Now, you've made your decision. You've had enough of Georgie Porgy. You want out, right?
No, I want to stay here. I love playing in New York. I grew up here. What's happened in the past is over. I know one thing, that if I do get traded, it'll be a lot easier to take if I have that World Series ring on my finger.
Number 28.
Well, 3 to go. All right, here's Bob Watson. He's playing in his first World Series and first time up last night. Hit a 3-run home run. And he looks at a strike. He did not drive. I should tell you that 1937 Plymouth at the ballpark today, after I mentioned it last night, his insurance man was on the phone and said, put it and leave it in the garage. Ball 1. Kind of an interesting facet of this man Watson, whom I like very much. He was asked by a couple of television stations for a morning appearance. Loops it, right center field, base hit. He turned down the opportunity for television appearances this morning. He said, nope. My morning chore at 8 o'clock is to drive Kelly and Keith to school.
Number 10.
I have never seen a man more at peace with himself at this point in time than Bob Watson. Don't you agree, Jim? Loose and easy. He knows the National League from the long career. And if they keep pitching him up and out, he'll be the MVP.
No doubt about it, Howard. They pitched him that way last night. Hit the ball hard a couple of times, and that ball was up and maybe not as far out as the home run he hit last night, but it was up in the middle of the plate.
So we've got a base hit on the scoreboard as Cerrone has a strike.
And here you see Bert Hooton's knuckle curveball. Cerrone, again, is not a good breaking ball hitter. Much prefers to hit a slider or a fastball. Again, out over the plate. And pretty good hit and run man.
Very good.
Foul.
One of the things I like about Cerrone at the plate is he's got adaptability. He can learn, he can adjust as he goes along during the course of a game.
Well, he learned that from Charlie Lau, who I think if you talk to any good hitter, they will tell you that each time you go to the plate, you have to make some kind of adjustment. The hitters that do are the ones that are usually more successful than others.
Edge to Hooton at 2 strikes. Ball is hit to the right side. Guerrero going back and makes the catch. Carried well, didn't it?
Yep, Guerrero there in his normal position, but Cerrone doing exactly what Jim talked about. He went to right field, and that's the way he adjusts as he goes along. He's become a good hit-and-run hitter, or hitter behind the runner.
With a right-hander on the mound, Willie Randolph settles into the number 8 position in the batting order tonight. Tommy John, the pitcher, has moved to the on-deck circle. Go to first. Tommy John's first major league hit was right here in Yankee Stadium when he was with the White Sox. See how quick that fastball looks after you've looked at a couple of curves. 89 miles an hour. One out, Watson at first base. And the pitch is outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes now on Randolph. The stadium is full, which means a crowd in excess of 54,000. Did he go? They say no.
And here you see the knuckle curveball, and this is the one that goes down and in. He really didn't break his wrist. It just kind of came around with his bodies, and a lot of times the umpire will not call that. If he had not turned his body, I'm sure that would have been strike 3.
2-2 to Randolph. Punch foul to the right side. I remember one time in Toronto, Jim Rice checked on a pitch, broke the bat. That's how strong he is.
Jerry Rice.
that a baleful glare?
He's a good pitcher. He's a good man. He'll be back in this series.
Probably can't wait till Saturday night.
To say at third, goes to second, and they get Watson coming down for the second out. Randolph aboard on the fielder's choice, and now Tommy John.
Career home runs, Jim.
But that's over 25 years. As old as he is.
When he started in baseball, back in the days when pitchers were hitting before the DH, he toted a 40-ounce hickory bat up there.
And he also choked up very much. I remember pitching against him in the late 60s. I thought he was always a threat when he came to the plate, but he hasn't hit since 1978. So I'm not sure how much. He was out here early taking batting practice.
And begging, too, because I was over there watching him. Every time he hit one, he was hollering hit.
Oh, you see the second half earned run averages, and now you understand about Bert Hooton and what he's meant to the Dodgers.
In case you'd like to know, the stick he's got in his hand now is 35-35, and he hits that to Davy Lopes. And he throws to Steve Garvey, and the inning is over. So the Yankees leave another one, and after two, there's no score in game two.
Oh, a once-in-a-lifetime play. But I've got an instant replay forever on my RCA convertible video recorder. It's really 2 VCRs in one. It records my TV favorites, and it converts to a portable home movie outfit. So I can record Moose's big plays, too. The RCA convertible. 2 VCRs are better than one.
No one gives you more VCR than RCA.
Ah, new car.
Chevy Chevette.
Must have cost a fortune for the fancy wheels and white striped tires.
Standard, Father.
Radio. Reclining seats. On your salary.
Standard, Father. Along with front disc brakes and radial tires.
And these fancy stripes?
$89 extra.
And why would you spend $89 on stripes?
The devil made me do it.
Oh,
Chevy makes good things.
the devil, you say?
Come, discover stamp collecting. Come discover the America you may never get to see. Come explore your heritage. With U.S. commemorative stamps, you'll relive great moments, meet great people, and see great beauty. It's an experience you can pass along for generations. So come to the post office and discover stamp collecting with the Frederick Remington stamp.
I'm Irma Bombeck, and I've created a new comedy about Maggie, a devoted wife and mother.
I wish you would not refer to your grandchildren as Cain and Abel.
Meet Maggie, premiering Saturday.
Coming up against Tommy John, Kenny Landreau. In the Dodger clubhouse before the game, Al Campanis, Tommy Lasorda discussing the starting lineup. Campanis pointing out that the scouts reported that Landreau killed the Yankees when he was in the American League. Well, maybe not killed them, but often hurt them, sometimes with the punt. So Lasorda said we'll go with Landreau, and we will have him bunt if the occasion suits. Whereupon Rick Monday, and Lasorda said, watch Monday, came charging in and said, Skipper, it's my last time around. How could you put me in yesterday against Guidry's Heat and let Landry go in when John doesn't throw that heat? He did it, of course, in great fun.
Landreau, Yeager, and Hooton.
I've always had a theory about Tommy John that he throws so many down and away fastballs to right-handers that he has more trouble against left-handed hitters than he does right-handed hitters.
Interesting point. By the way, mistakenly, I said Landry. I'm thinking of Tom's comeback against the Rams last Sunday. Landreau, of course.
John has the edge. He's at 2 strikes. Landreau had a big thing going. He was at a .327 average in May. But he never quite regained that stroke in the second season. Little check swing roller. Back to the mound. And you've got one out.
And no bunt.
Number 7, Steve Yeager.
Here's the man that homered for the Dodgers last night, Steve Yeager.
Kenny never has gotten back to that 31-game hitting streak form that he had with Minnesota.
Though he was hitting the ball sharply, a live bat in the early going this season. 1 out as Yeager steps in and takes ball 1.
But I think when you talk about a player that goes from one league to another, a lot of times it takes time for him to learn the pitchers in that league, and I think it takes less time for the pitchers to learn him. And probably the second time around, they made some adjustments.
Well, if anybody in town ought to know Tommy John, it should be Steve Yeager, right?
I would think.
It's interesting about John. He's faced 7 batters and thrown 6 ground balls, which is, as you said, he is a sinker ball.
Harry Milburn fields it just above the navel and throws him out.
Of course, I wouldn't call that a ground ball. That was more like a line, one-hop line shot.
Pitcher, number 46.
The thing coming at you like that with overspin on it, difficult to handle. Larry did a good job with it. Here comes Bert Hooton.
But what he did do, Keith, was stay in front of the ball.
Right.
And you saw Ron Say do the same thing earlier. If the ball's hit hard, the important thing is to try to keep the ball in front of you. The way to do that is to get in front of it.
Happy takes a strike.
When you see a situation like this, Jim, John knows the Dodgers know him. Another call strike. Who's got the edge in your view?
Well, I talked to Tommy, and he has never pitched against the Dodgers. So you would think that he knows them, I guess, from playing, but never ever pitching against them.
He strikes out Bert Hooton, so he has retired. The batting order in order after 2.5, no score.
In just a jiffy, I can help make your GM car run cleaner, run longer, and save gasoline.
How, Mr. Goodrich?
Well, maybe it's time for a new set of genuine GM filters to clean the oil, to clean the gasoline, to clean the 10,000 gallons of air your engine mixes with every gallon of gas.
Tall order.
And there's still time to check your wipers.
Keep that great GM feeling. That was fast, Mr. Goodrich. With genuine GM parts.
Place won't be the same without you, Helen.
I could stay on a few more years.
Many Americans retire with only a gold watch. Century, one of the country's largest insurance companies, is helping corporations offer employees more. Century developed Retired Lives Reserve, a benefits package that provides life insurance and peace of mind that continues even after retirement.
Helen, all's well that ends well.
All's well that begins well.
With Century, you know all's well.
We asked Roger Staubach to find out how people spell relief.
How do you spell relief?
For acid indigestion, R-O-L-A-I-D-S.
For heartburn, R-O-L-A-I-D-S. Rolaids really does spell relief.
Like a sponge, Rolaids antacid medicine consumes 100% of the acid required to give millions 100% relief.
How do you spell relief?
R-O-L-A-I-D-S.
For millions of Americans, Rolaids spells 100% relief.
Saturday NCAA college football action as Nebraska attacks Missouri in a Big 8 battle. Minnesota tackles 6th-ranked Iowa, plus other regional games Saturday on ABC.
Mumphrey, Milburn, Winfield, second time around now for the Yankees against Bert Hooton in a scoreless ball game going to the bottom of the 3rd inning.
Jerry Mumphrey.
Mumphrey opened the ball game with a walk. He was one of 2 Yankees that walked in the 1st inning. That one go early, and it sails outside.
Troublesome hitter, Mumphrey. You know, Jim, good batting eye. Bats from either side, not weak on either side.
He's a little bit better left-handed.
Guerrero for out number 1.
There's Fu Manchu in the bullpen. That's what Lasorda called him today. Said, I don't want to see that guy. Rudy May with the glasses.
It's Dom Scala who does the bullpen catching. Coaching out there. Ball 1. center field for Landreau. 2 down. Now Winfield. Winfield took the collar last night.
Would you call Hooton a stamina pitcher, or does he have trouble after 7 innings, Jim?
Well, I don't know if he has trouble, but he rarely pitches more than 7 innings, and maybe that's because Steve Howe has been very effective for the Dodgers in the bullpen. But talking about this particular inning, you have Winfield up here. You've got the 2 guys that can run out and ahead of him. And if you want to face Dave Winfield, you want to face him with 2 outs and nobody on base.
By the way, you hedged on a prior question. Who's got the advantage, John or the Dodgers?
I would think Tommy John would have the advantage.
Why?
Well, because if Tommy doesn't pitch that many complete games either, but if I had to go to the bullpen late in the game, Steve Howe's a tremendous young left-handed reliever, but I think that you'd have to go with Gossett.
That's a strike. He went around. Again, he was looking at a knuckle curve and just dropped out from under him. 1-1 the count on Big Dave. Popped him up. Yeager coming to the dugout. There'll be no play. It's in the crowd. Every time I see a catcher run to the dugout, my mind flips back to Earl Batty running into the dugout at Dodger Stadium.
1965.
Whoa.
He
didn't run very fast, but he
was there. Great catch. I remember a play Keith and I saw at Fenway by Butch Hobson when Butch was with the Red Sox. Just an extraordinary.
Monday Night Baseball, I tried to catch him when he went down the runway, and then I decided I was going to have to do it with my right arm.
Bill Russell throws him out. And so, Happy Hooton does a good job in the bottom of the 3rd, and we've played 3 with no score.
There's just one way.
One of a kind.
To describe our specialty.
It's genuine Colonel Sanders.
All you gotta say is original recipe.
Yeah.
America's favorite, bite after bite.
#1.
Kentucky Fried Chicken, we do it right for you.
How would you describe the perfect chicken?
Just one way.
Original recipe.
Kentucky Fried Chicken, we do chicken right.
You can get this Xerox desktop copier for just how much?
It lists for $29.95.
Just $29.95 for the quality and reliability.
Look, it could be a couple hundred less with trade-in.
Just $27.95 for
Many trade-ins run around $500.
Just $24.95.
Trade-ins go as high as $1,000 or more.
Just $19.95.
They also help you finance it at low interest rates.
Get this Xerox copier for just $29.95 and down. To find out how far down, call Xerox.
I didn't bother you, did I?
You're about to see the fastest animal in the world. Captured. Captured by a 35mm film that's faster. Kodacolor 400. Because the faster the action, the more you need Kodacolor 400. The fastest 35mm color print film from Kodak. America's storyteller.
Lopes, Russell, Baker, second time around for the Dodgers against Tommy John. Before the game, Howard talked to Tommy.
Do you feel that the extra rest the Yankees have had will benefit them, or oddly, maybe hurt them?
Howard, I hope it'll help us. Our pitchers, other than myself and Russell, are power pitchers. And I think with the extra rest, it will give Righetti and Guidry, Gossage and Davis, I think, a little more pop on their fastball, and that's what they live and die with. I've been throwing, during the off times here, I've been throwing a half an hour, 45 minutes every day, trying to keep my arm down, trying to wear it down so that I don't overthrow. When I tend to have too much rest, my sinker doesn't sink, and that's when I get in trouble.
He comes outside to Davy Lopes for ball one. I think in the case of virtually all sinker ball pitchers, though, they do better when that arm's a little tired. Lopes swings and misses for 1-1.
You agree with that, Jim?
Well, definitely the only ball that's been really hit hard tonight is the 3-1 pitch to Davy Lopes, and it was a leadoff batter. Tommy, I'm sure, was trying to find out what he had and got behind him, threw him a belt-high fastball, and he hit it hard to center field.
Good point. Meantime, 7 of 9 batters, as John has thus far at least been impeccable, have hit the ball on the ground.
2-1.
There's Bert Hooton.
To the right side, Randolph. One out. Last night, Lopes grounded out, third to first, short to first, second to first. The only guy he missed was Watson. He was trying to get that one over to Bobby.
Well, that may not be a bad idea, because if I was going to have to pick somebody in the Yankee infield that I wanted to hit the ball to, it would be Bobby Watson. Not a bad defensive player, but compared to the other gloves in the Yankee infield.
Well, he misplayed a ball in the Milwaukee series, but
Billy Russell looks at a pitch low and outside. And what do you know? Tommy John has just pumped one up there at 86 miles an hour.
I don't believe it.
That's an upset. Ball is hit over Nettles' head. Milburn backhands it. Long throw is in time.
well, it's not 9 out of 11. There's Sally John. What a lovely girl. And what they went through. And what a remarkable story about their son Travis and the way he's recovered. There's the play again. 9 out of 11 batters have hit the ball on the ground thus far against Tommy John.
Tommy yelled at me tonight, and I was leaving to come upstairs. He said, lie a little bit about my fastball, will you? If it gets over 80, take a picture. I swear he threw a fastball 77 miles an hour in one game this summer, Jim.
I'm sure he got the batter out with it.
He is a clever pitcher. It's like a clever boxer, you know?
Well, he doesn't have a whole lot of options. I mean, you know what he's going to do. He's going to throw that sinker away. He's going to occasionally throw your breaking ball. You just can't wait for it. It just doesn't come up there as fast as you think it's going to.
What a beautiful shot from the Blint. The big ballpark.
That's the America out of Houston, Texas. Pilot is Captain John Moran, Spring, Texas. My cameraman, Billy Sullivan.
And Sally John, who's expecting November 24th.
That is correct.
1-2 pitch. Struck out Baker. 3 up, 3 down for the Dodgers. Top of the 4th.
Time. The truest test of any product is how it performs over time. Now, this. Magnavox Star System Color Television. Designed for the highest reliability in Magnavox history. Design concepts, technology, advanced manufacturing systems for a picture as reliable as it is bright and clear. Magnavox. The brightest ideas in the world are here. Today.
I've had to write some tough things about some tough guys. But there's one guy I can't write anything bad about. His unique brand of baseball has made him a living legend. So have his commercials. They got me to try his favorite beer, light beer from Miller. Light's less filling and it really tastes great. So I bought this light for that renowned, yet humble man, Art Thrunker.
Cheer up, Billy. One day you'll be famous just like me.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
The decision is in on All the Marbles. The New York Times says, have a ball with this slam-bang, wisecracking comedy. Rex Reed says, more thrills than a roller coaster. It out Rocky's Rocky, says Bernard Drew. And the New York Daily News says, what a night, what a fight, what a movie. Anything goes, hey. Peter Falk in All the Marbles. Rated R. Now playing at a theater near you.
Barter, trade without money, a $200 million worldwide business.
The only thing you're changing is the method of payment.
Tomorrow on ABC's World News Tonight.
The lineup of ABC Sports presentations on Sunday. The New York City Marathon starting at 10:30 Eastern Time. That's going to be sent over much of the world. College Football 81, Sports Beat. now we'll go to the bottom of the 4th inning for Oscar Gamble, Greg Nettles, and Bob Watson. I think I have caught the all-pro cold. Oscar, in his first trip to the plate, walked off Bert Hooton, and he takes ball 1 in his second time up.
It's only the 4th inning, but one begins to think already which pitcher breaks first.
High fly ball lifted to the right side. Looks like it'll be out of play. And it is.
What's your thinking, Jim?
I don't know. I would think that if I was managing either club, if I got a leadoff man on, I think I'd have to maybe sacrifice him. And it doesn't look like either pitcher is going to give up very many runs tonight.
Well, look at that graphic. That gives you an evidence of what this man has been in his most recent efforts. Just untouchable.
And he's one of those guys, if you don't get him early, look out. Like that.
What a nifty pitch.
Well, that was his changeup. You know, everybody talks about his fastball that he spots and his knuckle curve that goes both ways. But his third pitch, which is very effective, is a straight change, and you saw it right there.
That's foul.
And there was another one. He didn't make a very good pitch, especially with the count 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Yeah, but the previous pitch was the same pitch that struck out Nettles in the first inning with 2 on. If you remember the called third strike when Nettles didn't say a word. He knew it.
No, but that's why Bert Hooton's effective. He can move his fastball in and around. It looked like a pretty good pitch there.
Yes, it did, but dangerous to Gamble down low. Notorious low ball hitter.
It's gone full now, 3-2. The defensive alignment by the Dodgers for Gamble. Popped him up. Davy Lopes wipes the frost off of it and throws it over to Billy Russell.
I must say, even though it's only the 4th inning, the way these guys are working, the rapidity of the game, it's a reminder of that extraordinary first game of the '49 World Series between these two teams, when, in the bottom of the 9th, Henrik hit one off Big Nuke to make it 1-0. That abruptly, it was over.
Greg Nettles fouls it away at the plate for strike 1.
You were here then, weren't you, Jim?
What year was that?
49.
I was living in New York at the time. I don't think I made that game, though. They have television back then?
Punch to left, drops, base hit in front of Baker. Second hit for the Yankees.
Now there was the time Nettles went with the pitch, Jim.
Well, it was the fastball out over the plate, but I think what happened was on the last time up, Nettles struck out on a fastball inside, and Greg had a little bit of respect for Hooton's ability to get the ball in on him, and he just kind of poked out to left, which, as you said, he did. Drove in 3 runs against Oakland.
Bob Watson is up now with 1 out. Nettles on first base. That ball is sharply struck to the corner, foul.
Watson's got a live bat at the moment. Interesting, in his National League career against Hooton, he had an interesting breakdown. From 72 through 75, he was 10 for 23, .435. But from 76 to 79, he was 6 for 33, only 182. Sharp dichotomy. That's Mrs. Hooton. Very attractive lady, as you can see.
Hoping her husband throws a good knuckle curveball for a double play, no doubt.
That's to the right side, foul.
When Watson's bat is hot, when it's live, He can kill you in any direction. Right, Jim?
Well, when you hit 300 for a lifetime batting average, Howard, you usually are not a pull hitter. And as you said last night, we saw him hit the ball into the right field stands. Hooten's first pitch this time up was a hanging knuckle curveball, and he wrapped it down the left field line. It's very hard to defend a hitter that hits the ball all over the ballpark.
Pops him up. Yeager comes back for a look. I don't think Steve's got to play. He doesn't.
I think if you're going to be a successful right-handed hitter, as Lou Piniella has done, or Thurman Munson did for all his career, in Yankee Stadium, you cannot try to pull the ball. You have to be able to hit the ball to right field.
But remember the game we saw when Munson hit one against Whitey Herzog? He talked to me about it this past Sunday at Pepperdine University, and it kept going and going. And out there into the bullpen against the statues. You remember that one?
Certainly do. I think it's the same game that Brett hit 3 home runs in.
Did he go? No. Close, though.
Well, there you get an idea of Bob Watson's strength. He's not known for hitting home runs, but here it's a good knuckle curveball. He starts to commit himself, and he just stops. Well, maybe he didn't stop the bat.
Questionable.
Well, maybe he's not as strong this year as last year, but it's a tough call. It's probably the toughest call in baseball for an umpire.
I may move to Holland.
Bouncer for Say. Over to second to get the lead man. No effort at first on Watson, so Bob will stay there with 2 out.
Here comes Rick. Despite all of the badinage, if you want to call it that, between him and Mr. George Steinbrenner, there is an underlying respect, I think, each for the other, and maybe even a mutuality of affection. They had that set to in the dressing room after the second Yankee loss to the Milwaukee Brewers. But you heard Rick tonight. He doesn't want to leave New York. It won't be his decision, he said.
First pitch misses.
Well, he had a fine year in 1980. Of course, this year he broke his thumb early in the year and struggled.
That really happened.
He only was up a little bit over 220 times. I often wonder what would happen if they had lost that last game in Milwaukee.
What would happen? There's Mr. Steinbrenner, way up in the corner.
On the ground to Russell. Goes the short way, and the inning is over. So Bert Hooten yields a single to Nettles. Yankees strand another one, and we remain scoreless through 4.
Today, the landscape of investment opportunities spreads far and wide. But there is one place they grow in all varieties to suit every kind of investor. At Merrill Lynch, we've brought together a profusion of financial services to nurture all kinds of investment needs. And it is the skill and care with which we tend them that makes us what we are. Merrill Lynch, a breed apart.
As an intelligent consumer, I wanted to compare Atari asteroids with other companies' asteroids. But other companies don't make asteroids. I wanted to compare Atari Missile Command with other companies' missile commands. But other companies don't make that either. Finally, I wanted to compare the new Atari Warlords. Unfortunately, other companies don't make it. When it comes to the video games the world wants most, nobody compares to Atari.
The famed monuments in the Yankee bullpen. You just passed Larrap and Lou Gehrig. There's Miller Huggins. And, of course, the Babe. Always the Babe.
It's interesting yesterday. Somebody, one of the writers down on the field, likened Valenzuela's build to that of Babe Ruth.
Really?
And, of course, the Babe was super pitcher before he started hitting home runs.
He sure was. And there is the Yankee Clipper. And there, of course, Joe McCarthy. And Mickey Mantle, who arrived here today, 50 years old, and Casey Stengel, Charles Dillon.
All right, we move now to Steve Garvey. There's Thurman Munson, the late Thurman, Yankee captain who was killed in a plane wreck.
I love that man, and I don't apologize for it. I'm proud. First hit.
Base hit, left center. So now the Dodgers finally get a base hit against Tommy John. Finally get a man on base after he had retired 12. And here's Ron Cey.
It's impossible to come to this ballpark, to go out into that bullpen, and not be literally overwhelmed by the memories that those plaques you've just seen provoke.
Tommy John has thrown just 37 pitches so far in the ball game.
Jacob Ruppert. We don't want to leave anybody out.
Now Ron Cey steps in and hits the ball to the right side. Going foul. Close enough, however, to bring a murmur from the crowd and a sharp intake of breath from Thomas John.
Interesting, isn't it, Jim? 4 perfect innings. Suddenly the grounded single with eyes into center field, and then the Ron Cey shot to right. Just foul.
Well, he made a fairly good pitch on Garvey. Got it maybe a little bit more in the middle of the plate than he wanted to, but I think what you're seeing is Ron Cey trying to go hit behind the runner. As we said, it doesn't look like there's going to be a whole lot of runs scored. Maybe you'll want to move a runner along or try to hit ball to right field and get the first and third situation.
You look at the plaques, you think of the memories. Cey's ball just foul in Don Lawson's perfect game in the '56 World Series, the Dodgers and the Yankees. Sandy Ambrose hit one that a lot of people thought was fair. It was just foul, and the perfect game was preserved.
1-1 count on Ron Cey. Garvey on first base. Nobody out. Tommy trying to hold him close.
Seemed only just, Jim, because the year before, Ambrose had deprived Berra with the remarkable left field foul line catch, and the Dodgers won.
Garvey goes. Ball is bounced toward third. Nettles comes in. Another good play by Greg. That time a little running from Garvey's part, and they escape any possibility of the double play.
Here's just a high hopper. Nettles coming in, catches it a little bit on the short hop.
Not
Stays
an easy
down.
play, Jim.
Well, for Greg Nettles, I wouldn't say it's too difficult. But I think what you're seeing is Lasorda realizing he's going to have to start some runners, get something going. He had Garvey running on the play. Otherwise, you may have had a force at second base. Now you have a runner in scoring position.
And the batter is Guerrero.
And a tough kid here. Good power. An unafraid hitter against anybody.
That's hit to Milburn, the shortstop. Whirls, goes to third. Ball gets away. Bad play. Another look at it. Like the ball might have nipped Steve coming down. He had a poor angle to throw the ball to the third baseman. If he's going to throw it to third, looked to me like he had to keep the ball up.
Well, it's like the base running mistake that Cey made last night.
Except this time Garvey gets away with it.
Well, I think that's a little bit of inexperience on Larry Milburn's part. I think if Bucky Dent was out there, he realized he had an easy out at first base. That's a play you have to make, and you can't be any borderline.
Error on Milburn. The error allowing Garvey to survive at third. A fielder's choice for Guerrero. And here is Landreau. Foul. 2 strikes on Kenny.
First big situation for John. Biggest scoring threat of the game. First runner to reach third. Right there. Steve Garvey.
Dodgers trying to get on the board. In the top of the 5th inning.
There's a big hole on the right side. As Willie Randolph is playing Landreau way up the middle.
1 ball and 2 strikes.
I'll play Landreau on a hunch, Lasorda said in the clubhouse before the game. He's been good against the Yankees. He'll get a shot.
Well, Tommy John's not a strikeout pitcher.
That was close.
I've got to give Landreau some credit for knowing the strike zone.
True.
Just missed.
2-2. Fouled away. Guerrero was running from first on the pitch.
Interesting on that call. You admitted it was close, Jim. National League umpire. Would have thought he might have gotten a strike.
Interesting, too, that Guerrero running, trying to stay away from the DP here on 2-2. The ball is swung on and missed. Landreau strikes out. 2 down.
But he's not out of it yet because always troublesome to the Yankees, Steve Yeager.
And there's one of the typical Tommy John mystery pitches. Watch it drop.
Are you suggesting that he scuffed the ball, Jim?
Well, if I was ever going to cheat, you usually do it with 2 outs when you need a strikeout, and Tommy John needed a strikeout right there.
Now, what does that mean? Is this guilt by implication?
It could be.
Steve Yeager, in recalling last night's moment of joy for him, the home run to right, could only recall in his entire career hitting the ball out of the ballpark to the right side 1 other time. And he took him 30 minutes to think of that one. Punches that foul. He is a pull hitter.
He's also a pretty good fastball hitter. He jumped on Guidry's fastball and put it in the right field seats. I would imagine Tommy is either going to throw him sinkers away, try to get him out with a breaking ball.
That's foul.
I have great respect for Yeager. He wants out, of course. He wants to get away because he's fallen into second string status with the development of Socha.
2 strikes now. The edge goes to Tommy John with 2 on and 2 out. And no score in the ball game in the top of the 5th inning. That's hit off John's glove. Tommy flagged it down, throws to first, pulls Watson off the bag. Watson makes the tag, takes a blow from Yeager coming down, and he gets out of it. Glasses flew off of Bobby Watson in the collision at first base, but if Tommy John doesn't flag this down, it's into center field for a base hit.
He got a break on where it came down, I'll tell you that. But he was quick in his reaction.
There's a collision there at first. 2 big men, full speed, and the Dodgers come away empty, and the game remains scoreless.
Recently, a few extraordinary wines were entered in a prestigious international competition. Wines made from costly varietal grapes, harvested in some of the world's finest growing regions. An oak-aged Chardonnay, a deep, full-flavored Burgundy, a light, dry Chenin Blanc, a varietal Rosé, a spicy Gewürztraminer. And each of these wines, all from a single winemaker, was judged to be among the best of the world.
Silver medal, gold medal, silver, gold, gold medal.
The wines, all from America, all from California, and all from the wine cellars of America's premier vintners, Ernest and Julio Gallo.
Soon the house was bursting with rabbits, and the Papa Rabbit said,
"We need a new house!"
And our Century 21 agent found the house.
"That's right. But how can we manage with interest rates so high?"
I've arranged with the seller to take back a second. It's just one way to use alternative financing. It's all explained in our brochure.
Great.
We're America's #1 top seller.
The perfect house.
For all us rabbits.
Century 21.
Another look at that play at first base. Jim felt that Yeager had stepped out of the base path to interfere.
Well, I don't know. I wouldn't call it interference. I would good hard baseball. I think he sensed that Bobby Watson had to come down the line to catch the throw that was a little bit off, and felt he might be able to jar the ball out of his glove. You can see him just kind of hit him with his left shoulder. And you just said, not too many Dodgers play with the intensity of Steve Yeager.
In the manner of a linebacker.
Bottom of the fifth, no score. Willie Randolph, Tommy John, and Jerry Mumphrey. And Bert Hooton is in there with a strike.
This is a heck of a ball game. There's Bobby Watson mounting tension, everything that baseball's advertised to be. Yesterday, Dullsville until the Dodger threatened the eighth inning. We're at 1-1 now.
Strike. Bert does not want Randolph aboard. It figures John would try to bunt him over. That's hit sharply and off lopes into short right field.
Fastball away, hit hard. Ball just comes up.
Bad hop. They'll give him a single.
The pitcher, Tommy John.
I would think it might be an error, only because he got in front of it. Ball was hit hard.
It is.
Yep, it's an error.
I've always had more compassion for my infielders than some of the scorers.
Yeah. That ball was playable.
But not an easy chance. Not any means.
They're expecting John to bunt him over. Tommy squares and takes it for a strike.
And here you see the difference, really, in the two leagues with the designated hitter and with not having it. I doubt if you'd be seeing the situation right here where you'd be bunting. You might be hitting and running. You might Randolph, who can steal a base.
Good bunt.
A beauty.
So the sacrifice is accomplished by the Yankee pitcher. One out, Randolph at the turn for the top of the order, Mumphrey.
So just as suddenly the pressure shifts to Hooton. It had been on John, especially with the ill-advised Milburn throw to third, trying to get Garvey when he had a bad angle for the throw. Now, runner in scoring position for the Yankees.
Mumphrey was troublesome last night. Had 2 hits. Scored twice. Fly ball lifted out into left center for Ken Landreau. 2 down.
The shortstop, Larry Milbourne.
Now the Yankee shortstop, Larry Milbourne, comes up with 2 out.
And they've been handling very well. I would say if when he bats left-handed, he's a much better high ball hitter. And he went 0 for 4 last night. He's been hitting that little ground ball to shortstop because they've been keeping the ball down in the strike zone.
Just inside. And no strikes.
Connie Milburn, Larry's bride.
Hi, Lord. Hi, Larry.
here's a good example why Milbourne hit .313. With Winfield behind him, he should get a pretty good pitch to hit right here.
Took it for a strike. Fastball up at 88 miles an hour. There's that knuckle curve.
Oh, did you see that dip?
Rather difficult pitch to hit. He's probably glad he didn't hit it. Maybe would have been a soft ground ball to the right side.
2-2, 2 out. Randolph off second. And it's outside.
A little sticky even there. Bobby Mercer. Incredible, his continuing popularity. He's looked upon as a kind of original Yankee here by the New York fans.
That's because he was going to be the next Mickey Mantle.
Well, that hurt him for a while.
Puts down the left side, going to drop for a base hit. Randolph comes around third. Yankees lead 1-0. Double for Milbourne.
See a high knuckle curveball. It hangs out over the plate.
But you've got to give Milbourne credit. He went with the pitch.
Well, he tries to do that almost on whether it would be a fastball or a breaking ball, but that's what he does best. He gets the bat on the ball. He has excellent speed. And he really has gone from a goat to a hero.
Yes, he has.
He made the pivotal error.
Amazing. And even yesterday, when they got him out every time, once you'll remember, he hit that savage grounder off the pitcher's foot. The ball lay there appropriately for the pitcher, and they got him out. Otherwise, he would not have had a hitless game. So, an earned run off Bert Hooton. Final.
Winfield is up now with Milbourne at second. Pitch is high. And it's high when it's high to David. He's 6'6".
It's not an earned run, I don't believe, though. I think because of the error.
That's true.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's not an earned run.
Pitchers know about those things.
I know. Especially you.
Of course, I know some hitters, by the time they hit the first base bag, they already know what their batting average is.
Series, Keith measured Winfield and decided he was really 11 feet.
Including the tips of his fingers. He's a great athlete. 1-1.
Oh, these are two tough ball clubs. Seasoned pros. Neither one at the moment invested in youth, but know-how and poise and guts.
Two balls and a strike. Those are the folks way up at the top, huh? Two-1. Lopes knocks it down. Got to hurry. Gets in. Look at that one. That time Lopes stayed in front of it, and that was a cannon shot. Watch that thing ricochet right up his arm, right through his chest. But he's able to pick it up and throw out Winfield. But the Yankees get on the board to lead after 5, 1-0. Back with more after this word from our local stations.
Thursday, it's a honeymoon that's out of this world.
No more poking.
When Mork and Mindy visit Ork.
Nano. Doesn't he look amazingly like Elton John?
Then Sam Best goes undercover to save Tillman's neck.
A fella could get killed up here.
On Best of the West.
Tomorrow.
American Airlines is rolling out some great news. A new low fare to 3 American cities. Now you can fly to Los Angeles, San Francisco, or San Diego for only $195. Just $195 each way with a round-trip night coach Super Saver ticket. Because at American, saving you money is one of the things we do best.
We're American Airlines, doing what we do best.
Hey, you!
Who, me?
Take my picture.
Me?
Here, use my Panasonic video camera and portable VHS recorder.
Reggie, I don't know how.
It's easy. All the controls can be attached to the camera, so you can take pictures. Smile! And with Panasonic, you get instant replay right through the camera, so you know you've got the shot. Take my picture. I got it.
I got it.
Get the fun of outdoors indoors with Panasonic Omnivision.
Reggie Vision.
Police are in Rockland County tonight. They're looking for more suspects in the shootouts that killed 2 policemen and a Brinks guard. We'll have that story and more on the Long Island earthquake after the game.
Where were you in 67 tomorrow night, 7:30?
A shot from the Goodyear Blimp America from Houston, Texas. The pilot, Captain John Moran from Spring, Texas. Our cameraman, Bill Sullivan. And what a glorious sight it is. And for Yankee fans, that young man at the moment is a most pleasant sight. Larry Milburn, the shortstop, acquired from Seattle. Nobody paid much attention to him at all. But in the playoffs, what a player he's been. His line doubled on the left field foul line, scoring Willie Randolph with the lone run thus far of the ball game. 1-0 Yankees. Here's Keith.
Bert Hooton, Davy Lopes, and Bill Russell. Bert struck out swinging first time he faced Tommy John. Tommy labored a little bit in the 5th. The big man he got was Kenny Landry. Struck him out. He's got a 1-1 count on Bert right now.
Really, that seems to be the difference. Last night, the Yankees, 4 of their 5 runs came with 2 outs. The 3-run home run by Watson, the 2-out single by Piniella, and we had the 2-out base double down the left field line by Milmore tonight. If you're going to win, you're going to have to get clutch hits. So far, the Yankees have gotten them.
Bert's gone.
They never get them against Scott McGregor.
Not too many
Shut
people.
them out 5 times now, hasn't he?
Yes, that he has. He beat them in September 1-0 and 3-0. And catch this, he beat them 1-0 here at Yankee Stadium, struck out 11 and only threw 94 pitches. So they didn't hit the ball very regularly that night.
Davy Lopes, the top of the order, 4th strikeout for Tommy John. He has walked no one so far in the ball game and allowed the Dodgers only 1 base hit at the leadoff single to Garvey in the top of the 5th inning. Now Lopes now is 1-1.
Well, on Friday we see the great young one, Fernando Valenzuela.
2 great ones. 2 great young ones.
And young Dave Righetti. Yes, you're right. Youngest man ever to pitch a shutout. He was 9 days short of 21.
The Nettles at 3rd. Tom Lasorda has a recurring case of dyspepsia every time a ball goes over.
Youngest man ever to pitch a shutout in a World Series game, 9 days short of 21 when he did it. Was a kid who I thought had fair at that point in time to become a great golfer. That never happened. The kid was Jim Palmer, sitting next to me now. On Friday, Valenzuela will be 9 days short of 21. Interesting coincidence, you know?
I'm rooting for a rainout.
You want to be the youngest, huh?
Doesn't really matter.
Do you remember that game?
Vaguely. Only because I was so scared. I was pitching against Koufax. Just wanted to go out there and have a fairly good game because I figured he was going to win. He won most of the rest of the games he pitched that year.
66 World Series. Remember the catch Kurt Blefary made? Nobody believed it. Baltimore Memorial Stadium.
Willie Davis.
Suddenly 3 balls. There it is, Friday. Righetti against Valenzuela. Add the 2 ages together, they don't reach Jackson.
Which That's true.
Deep. Not run.
Count 3-1 to Bill Russell. Shot down the third base line. Base hit. Could be 2. Russ takes a turn, takes a look, and says, no thanks. Single.
Not on Winfield's arm.
Well, I think they learned their lesson last night when Say was thrown out and on what would be a routine double.
But not at Ron's present running ability. And what's the old rule, Jim? If you're going to have to slide, don't try to get there.
Not trailing by 4 runs.
Exactly.
You realize
Nobody
how
out in the
close
inning.
Nettles came to getting that?
Well, he's also was even with the bag, and I think respecting the fact that Billy Russell may lay one down.
Dusty Baker looks. It's outside.
If I was Dusty Baker right now, I know that they're trailing by 1 run and he can hit home runs, but where Nettles is playing, he can just drop a bunt down and walk to first base.
Yankees are on top, 1-0. Dodgers at bat, top of the 6th inning. See, he's well back now.
I know many managers, I know Earl Weaver would say yes, but Baker is one of their leading home run hitters. But here in Yankee Stadium, very difficult to hit home runs.
That's foul.
Jim, at this point, how does Tommy look to you? Do you see any evidence of weakening? Does the Russell single have any portent for you?
No, he did go 3-0 on Bill, and again, the balls that have been hit hard off Tommy tonight have been when he's behind in the count. I would think, though, Bob Lemon is very aware that he has not, I think, pitched 18 innings in the last 25 days. Will get somebody up in the 7th inning in the bullpen, just throwing easily in case he runs into problems.
That's for Nettles. Over to second. And the inning is over. So the Dodgers are shut away from anything exciting in the top of the 6th. Yankees lead it 1-0.
Summer times and first vacations, happy times and celebrations. Somewhere there's a Chevy at the heart of it. Autumn dreams and good vibrations, winter scenes and decorations. Get yourself a Chevy and be part of it. Chevy makes good things happen. Good things happen. Chevy makes good things happen.
No experience, no job. I could do that job, but who'd give me the chance?
Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines.
We don't ask for experience, we give it. You won't read it in a book, you live it. Pick a service, pick a challenge, set yourself apart.
Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. What a great place, it's a great place to start.
We'll open your eyes.
The honeymoon suite, complete with a new RCA color track.
We won't have much time.
Hey, that's some color picture. Can't get any better than this color track.
RCA's advanced detail processor delivers a color picture so lifelike it seems almost three-dimensional.
That's some color picture.
Let's switch to the news.
But why?
To see if there's anything about our divorce.
We'll open your eyes. Open your eyes. RCA.
America, the girls are back.
How about you coming down to my room a little later?
Play ball! And they're pouring on the laughs in the season premiere of the all-new Making a Living.
There's your George Washington Bridge, aglow tonight on the 50th anniversary. Crosses the river, stadiums there in the background. Across that bridge, you go to Jersey.
The Hudson River, all of the glory. Way in the background, the Meadowlands. And you see the lights because of the racing going on there right now. Knock it all you want. This is it, the Big Apple.
Oscar Gamble fouls at the plate. And while a new baseball goes to Bert Hooton, this telecast presented by authority of Major League Baseball, intended solely for the private non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of Major League Baseball prohibited. Foul ball at the plate, strike 2.
Standing behind our booth, Keith, an old friend of yours, a great football coach, now the president of the Yankees, Lou Saban.
I think inside that soul beats an urge to coach once again, too.
Possibly. What a job he did with the Jews. O.J. loves them. He'll tell you all about it anytime you want to talk.
Up high to make it 1-2.
Jim, what is, to you, the key difference between this year's Yankee team and last year's?
Speed. By acquiring Jerry Mumphrey and Dave Winfield, what they've done is they shored up their defense in the outfield. Last year when we did the Kansas City playoffs, you could just look on AstroTurf and say the Yankees were maybe one of the slowest teams in baseball. Now they have Winfield and Mumphrey, not only can hit, but can certainly go get them with the best of them in the outfield.
Gamble lifts the fly ball to center. For Ken Landreau, 1 out.
The third baseman, Dave Nichols.
You weren't happy with your outfield for quite a while. How do you feel about it now? No different, right?
They're wonderful. No, I think you saw Winfield's effectiveness. The ball hit by Nettles in the last inning normally would be a double. He can play off the line because he knows Winfield not only has a great throwing arm, but he gets to the ball maybe quicker than any outfielder in the American League.
Not hit by Nettles, forgive me, by
Nettles. Excuse me.
Oh, past Nettles.
Yes.
Oh.
Just a matter of semantics.
Of course. Of course.
You all right?
How's your cold?
Greg Nettles up there takes it on the inside corner. That makes it 1-1.
Tommy John toweling himself. Really a remarkable person, not just a fine pitcher.
2-1.
Watching him and Sally live through the travail over their little son Travis when he had fallen out of the window down at Atlantic City. Keith, watching the prayers, watching the character, the fortitude, I think it was a lesson in humanity and values.
Foul back. I think in moments like that is when real character surfaces. Yogi.
Interesting study. He still thinks Robinson was out when he stole home at 52. 55. That's when it was. Forgive me. The John Padres Sandy Amorous series. First World Series the Dodgers have ever beaten the Yankees.
2-2 pitch to Nettles is hit high in the air to the right side, but it's inside the ballpark for Guerrero. 2 out.
Oh boy, we're coming down to the final 3, and what a game this is.
Bob Watson. Single and a fielder's choice. Well, this is the kind of a ball game that you just let it cook, let it sit on the fire, keep boiling. The temperature keeps rising, and Watson fouls it back. Total of 5 hits by both teams. Toward the hole, Russell backhands it. Nice play by Billy. So Hooten gets the Yankees in order in the bottom of the 6th. And after 6, 1-0 New York.
Believe it or not, if 9 out of 10 of these homes burn down, there's no guarantee they'll be totally rebuilt. Because rebuilding costs are rising so fast, even inflation protection may not cover a home fully. But now, Allstate's got the brand new home replacement guarantee. Get it and get your home built back just like it was, even if rebuilding costs more than you're covered for. Ask your Allstate agent about the new home replacement guarantee. For ideas that make good sense today, you're in good hands with Allstate.
This is Polaroid's new Sun camera, a new system with the fastest color print film made, 600 speed. But it needs one more thing to turn bad light into good pictures.
What's that?
A piece of the sun.
Got any long legs?
There, a piece of the sun does it.
Turn this bad light into a good picture.
Sure, you use this on every shot. You see, you've never been so sure of an instant picture.
Lovely. Now you just reach up.
Well, don't waste it.
You've never been so sure. There's a new day dawning, America.
Today, we're all working to brighten America's energy future. And Sun, an energy company for nearly a century, is helping by developing new sources of oil, natural gas, synthetic fuels, and coal right here at home.
America, Sun is helping to make a new day.
This beautiful day has been brought to you by Sun, an energy company.
The great spectacle of the New York City Marathon, 16,000 attack 26 miles of New York pavement with defending champ Alberto Salazar promising a world record Sunday on ABC.
The NCAA college football presentation on ABC Saturday. 2 games. Nebraska at Columbia against Ole Mizzou. And the Minnesota Golden Gophers at Iowa City against the Hawkeyes of Iowa. Scoring summary, pretty simple. Randolph safe on an error by Davy Lopes. Tommy John sacrificed him to second. Larry Milburn brought him home with a double down the left field line. Is off field. Here's Steve Garvey, followed by Ron Cey, Pedro Guerrero.
That lineup speaks for itself. John perhaps beginning to get some pitches up. Lemon has to watch John closely. Every pitch, 1-run ball game, and again, mounting tension.
Steve Howe is up in the Dodger pen now, just starting to loosen up as John misses outside Tommy in 6 innings. Has allowed 2 singles. He has struck out 4 He has struck out 4 He has thrown 67 1. He has struck out 4. Garvey hits it to short. Garvey hits it more or less thigh high. Garvey has 2 of the 3 And as they most important batter that you're're're't to facee'sely going toe
is                                               18the
You You           You You                                 You can bet beingninginginginging to                            edge 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 Bobby a remarable Bobby a You've readed a lot Bobiey readed a lot you remember his's scuffleed with with You'veve Don But as as Ron 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 in in He 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 Ron He He Could
These 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 are are These's are the the guyses
'These are                                                                             the the  These of guthe guthat guys
because of Landreau being left-handed, this may be his last batter. I would think even if he gets him out, you will see Ron Davis in the 8th inning for the Yankees.
Unless Lem is thinking about Ron's problem yesterday. Oh, Ron's father spoke to me today and said, my boy will come through today. Which doesn't mean that that will happen either. It's paternal fate.
Landreau with a 1-ball count. Fouls it away.
There he is. Big kid, tremendous power. You folks around the country who may not have seen that much of him during the year didn't see the real Davis yesterday. No question.
Two out now. Garvey led the inning. Say with a long fly ball to right. And Guerrero with a line shot to the shortstop. 1-0 New York. Dodgers up in the top of the 7th inning.
Tommy John does not have a good pickoff move, but what he's doing to Steve Garvey is just to let him know that he knows he's over there. The last thing you want to have is give him a big jump here and have him steal a base.
Let's foul back on the screen. Yankees won last night's ball game, the opener, 5-3. They go home for Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday. If more than 5 games are needed, then they'll come back here to Yankee Stadium next Tuesday and Wednesday. Landreau hits it down the left side. Winfield cruising. You don't think he's not a fine outfielder? I tell you, he is something. So they waste Garvey at first base, and the Yankees continue to lead 1-0.
Blow away everything you ever heard about pickups and meet the revolutionary new size Chevy S10. There's never been a truck like it before.
Chevy S10.
28 miles per gallon, 39 highway. The standard 4-cylinder engine has higher EPA gas mileage ratings than any of the best-selling imports.
Chevy S10.
It offers optional V6 power.
Power to tow twice as much as any import pickup.
The new size Chevy S10. Order yours today. There's never been a truck like it before.
Never!
Chevy is the power in trucks.
All you people in motion, here's a good notion.
The telephone credit card. The easy way to call.
Easier than carrying a whole lot of change. You get a monthly record of your calls.
Apply at your Bell Business office for your free card.
Mrs. Wilson. Hi, Mom. It's the newest Mrs. Wilson.
All over the land, call soon as you can.
Baseball fever. Catch it. It's worth it.
The preceding message was furnished by Major League Baseball.
Rich Gossage is now warming up in the New York bullpen, and it figures we're going to get a pinch hitter for the Yankee pitcher Tommy John, and bet you there's going to be Reggie Jackson. Yeah.
Interesting, isn't it? Team grows curiouser and curious. In the meantime, did you see, catch it, baseball fever, that catch by Winfield on the drive, hit by Doogie DeCinces of your team? Was it the best catch you ever saw?
I would say so. Best one I've ever seen. I was sitting on a bench observing. Doug was tremendously disappointed. Saw a home run that was going into the third row turn into an out.
Rick Cerrone, Willie Randolph, and the pitcher's spot. Bert Hooton for the Dodgers has given New York 3 hits. The run is unearned. 2 balls and no strikes. The Dodger pen, as we told you a while ago, Steve Howe has been loosening up for some time. Dave Stewart has now joined him.
and Howell being their outstanding reliever, they may go with Forrester, who pitched very well in September, coming off elbow surgery.
Hooten's now gone to 3 balls and no strikes to Cerrone, leading off for New York in the bottom of the 7th. Is up with the bat in his hand, the Yankee dugout, Bobby Mercer. Walks Cerrone. And let's see who comes out as the pinch batter. Willie Randolph walking to the plate as Mercer number 2.
Keith, this is the 7th inning. Remember, Jim Palmer told you folks earlier when we discussed the question of stamina that Hooten, while a great pitcher, has not that many times gone past 7 innings.
Well, also, this is the type of game, Howard, that every pitch might mean the ball game. Now he knows that he probably has no chance to win if he gives up another run, especially with the record the Yankees have. They've won 55
out of 56 when they lead going into the 7th inning.
Exactly, and he knows that.
Randolph at the plate. Mercer is in the on-deck circle. Say coming in at third, expecting bunt. The pitch is low and away, ball 1. Is high. Ball 2. Bert looks like he might be laboring a bit here. He's a gritty fellow.
Well, I think this is where compassion from the manager sometimes stands in the way of good judgment. He's pitched a great game. He's pitched 3 outstanding games. You'd like to see him have a chance to win it, but he is tiring. There's ball 3. Willie Randolph's not going to swing at a ball. I mean, that's the one thing that Willie can do. He makes you throw strikes. And sometimes when you get a little bit tired, the legs and the arms just don't work together.
One of the better traits that Randolph has as a ball player, and even conceding he's had an off year at the plate, he rarely spikes around.
2 aboard. Walk 2 in a row. The 4th. Base on balls. He's thrown 99 pitches. Yeager has gone to the mound, as you saw, to talk to him, and the applause building for Bobby Mercer, hitting for the pitcher, Tommy John.
I'll tell you, they have a special feeling for this kid. He also was Thurman Munson's best friend. He and his wife still stay in steady touch with Diane Munson.
Rob Lasorda coming out of the dugout there. That may be it for Bert. Joe Altobelli has come down from third base to talk to Bobby Mercer while Lasorda goes to the mound with a heavier problem. He wants the left-hander. That's Forster, unless Howe is already warmed up and ready to come. So Terry Forster is the left-hander coming out of the bullpen for the Los Angeles Dodgers, relieving Bert Hooten.
Thursday, a high school reunion.
Can you believe who I'm with?
Who are you?
Sparks memories of the good old days for bosom buddies.
Woo!
And when Lotka takes on Alex's personality.
What do you think of the human race? I'd like an outsider's opinion.
What happens to Alex?
Thank you very much.
Taxi.
Tomorrow.
John Houseman for the investment firm of Smith Barney.
Buy low, sell high. Every investor's goal. But the astutely managed portfolio strikes a balance of the right investments. It should anticipate any eventuality. Smith bonds. They make money the old-fashioned way. They earn it.
As an intelligent consumer, I wanted to compare Atari asteroids with other companies' asteroids. But other companies don't make asteroids. I wanted to compare Atari Missile Command with other companies' missile commands. But other companies don't make that either. Finally, I wanted to compare the new Atari Warlords. Unfortunately, other companies don't make it. When it comes to the video games the world wants most, nobody compares to Atari.
Trouble in a New Jersey jail tonight. Reports of 2 guards taken hostage. Police are there now on the scene with riot gear. We'll have the story coming up right after the game.
Where were you in '67? Tomorrow night, 7:30.
Terry Forster called in out of the bullpen to relieve Bert Hooton here in the Yankee 7th. As New York, profiting from the wildness and tiredness of Bert Hooton, have Rick Cerrone at second base, Willie Randolph at first base. Lou Piniella is swinging a bat in the dugout, Forster having been announced. But it may very well be that they'll go ahead and let Bobby Mercer do what most everybody in the ballpark is expecting, bunt. Nobody out. Terry Forster coming off surgery of the left elbow.
Seems almost unbelievable, but that young man, this is his first World Series appearance ever. He came to the Yankees, labeled, as Jim Palmer put it, keep Bobby in the Big Apple. That's the way they love him here. Labeled another mantle. It haunted him. He couldn't possibly have been that, and he knew it. But a quality ball player he has always been. A quality hitter. Look for 20 home runs or thereabouts, 80 or more runs batted in. 10 years with San Francisco and with the Chicago Cubs. But back where he started, and here, as I said, he represents the Big Apple.
Puts it down. It's a good one. Forster off the mound. Throws. Just get it. Just get it. Runners move up. Cerrone to third, Randolph to second. 1 out.
Well, this is a picture-perfect bunt. I didn't know he could bunt. Look at all these years. He could have been legging out hits. Bunts it to the third baseman, the guy you want to have field the ball. Even though on the Dodgers, Garvey doesn't have the good arm. Forrester makes an excellent throw. Just out by, what, I guess a half a step at first.
He got down there very well.
They will walk Mumphrey to give him a play at any base and set up, obviously, the double play opportunity. The man in the on-deck circle, however, is the man that stung him, Milburn. Back in the days when Terry Forster and Rich Gossage were teammates in Chicago, there were those who said the left-hander is faster than the right-hander. And he may have been.
I got a letter from my old roommate who used to play with the Orioles, Davey Leonard, who was playing in Winter League, and he said that the White Sox got this kid that just struck out Terry Crowley. He was lying on the ground when the umpire called the third strike, and it was Terry Forster. He has such an outstanding slider. I think that's why he's had so many problems with his elbow after the 2 surgeries.
All right, the bases are loaded with 1 out for the Yankees in the bottom of the 7th in a 1-0 ball game. New York leading. Forster on in relief of Hooton. Russell second for 1. Back to first. They get the double play. Well, how do you do? Forster comes in out of the bullpen and slams the door. And we've played 7, and we've still got a ball game. The Yankees leading by a score of 1-0. The high bouncer, Russell, flipped it to Lopes, and Davey burned it on to first base to get the double play. And so the Dodgers dodge a bullet. Left-handed hitter batting for Steve Yeager.
Pulled him into right field for a single last night when he came on. Jim, you had an interesting look at that. How do you spell the lead? You had an interesting talk with Barry Foote. Get to him in a moment, if you will, about what was wrong with Deuce last night.
Darryl Thomas has come out, and he will be hitting in the pitcher spot for the Dodgers. As Gossage delivers, Johnstone hits it high to right field, driving the right fielder. Gamble to the warning track for the first out. He just missed it.
That he did. And last night, you look at Gossage's stats, and you don't realize not only does he throw 95, 96, 97 miles per hour, he has excellent control. Last night, the most important thing a pitcher can do is keep his opposite shoulder going towards home plate. He was really opening up, and I think there's probably a reason for that. Number one, he didn't have a whole lot of opportunity to get loose because Davis came in and walked the first 2 batters. And the second thing is that they haven't played in a couple of days. So
Your attention, please.
It'll be interesting to see if he not only has the same velocity he had last night, but if he has better control.
Tom Lasorda changes his mind. He calls Thomas back from the on-deck circle and sends up Reggie Smith. So as Billy Sullivan and the blimp crew looks down on Yankee Stadium, Reggie Smith steps in. He's been tormented by troubles with his shoulder and has not played a whole lot this year. And Gossage is out there with his 95-mile-an-hour fastball.
It's hard from the swing, but this is a proud man, Reggie Smith. I talked to him about going to the American League where he could perhaps survive better as a...
Bat explodes, and he pulls it to right field for a base hit.
2 straight.
And Rick Monday comes out.
2 of them in a row have pulled Gossage. I was saying, Keith, and you know Reggie so well, being a Los Angelino. Look at this again.
Well, he sawed him off on the hands. He got it right in on the hands, and Reg had enough on it to pull it.
Your attention, please.
Steve Sachs is running now for Smith at first base. He has quickness. Young second baseman.
What Reggie said was, if I can't be a full-time ball player, I'm no ball player. I don't want to be around.
Here's the man that put the Dodgers in the World Series, Rick Monday.
Rick Monday.
He's hitting for Davey Lopes at the top of the order, which means we'll see Sachs at second base in relief of Lopes. Well, can Rick Monday work another miracle?
There you see fingers across the ball, which is across the seam fastball that Gossage throws.
Foul back. Monday last night, 0 for 4, 3 strikeouts.
This is Gossage.
Tell you one thing, Monday jumped on that first one. He went after it.
Well, it's not much of a mystery what's coming.
Nope.
I would wonder if he has any self-doubt. I know that when I'm throwing, and I keep throwing fastballs in the middle of the plate, and they keep pulling the ball, you got to make some changes.
He's got 2 strikes on Monday. That one might have been out of the strike zone low. Steve Sachs is on first base with 1 out in a 1-0 New York lead in the top of the 8th inning, and the pitch is just outside. This has been a tidy little contest.
Right by him. Gets a little tense, doesn't it, folks?
After the heroic home run by Monday, to get him in the series, Rick has now struck out 4 times in 5 trips. Bill Russell, the hitter. Strike.
And that's more like Goose Gossage, not only did he throw that ball about 96 miles per hour, it was on the corner.
Broke it, and it's low. 1-1.
Took a little off that, didn't he, Jim?
Well, that's it. That's his breaking pitch. Doesn't throw it that much, but Bill Russell's a better fastball hitter than he is a breaking ball hitter.
Sachs goes. Russell pops it up on the left side. Nettles drifts in foul ground. Inning is over. Dodgers are down now to 3 out. After 7 1/2, the Yankees lead the Dodgers 1-0 in Game 2 of Yankee Stadium. And we've got some new people afield now for the Dodgers. Steve Sachs has gone in to play second base in relief of Davey Lopes. Mike Scioscia has gone behind the plate as Steve Yeager was hit for. And young Steve Howe is out on the mound, and he has been Los Angeles' most effective relief pitcher. He's a young man who really his entire career apparently is going to be one of relieving. Though Tom Lasorda did on Monday night and again Tuesday morning mention that if he got a win in the opening game, he might very well consider Howe as a starter. But he didn't get the win.
Your attention, please, ladies and gentlemen.
They have not used Bobby Welch as yet, so the Dodgers, in effect, are not wholly committed to a 3-man rotation in the series. But Welch has been used in relief by Los Angeles, and particularly so in the Houston-Montreal series. Steve Howe will be pitching to Dave Winfield, Oscar Gamble, and Greg Nettles. Bottom of the 8th inning. The book on Bert Hooton, 6 innings plus. The run on the board was unearned. He allowed 3 hits. He struck out 1. He walked 4. And the first pitch to Winfield by Howe is ball 1. Fly ball, short, right center. Railroad coming over, but it is Landreau making the catch. 1 out, and they have been able to handle Winfield again tonight at the plate.
Yep.
The Dodgers are going to have Baker, Garvey, Say when they come up in the top of the 9th inning.
Long way to go in this game yet.
The scoring summary, that's how it happened. Back in the 5th inning. Oscar Gamble has been called back, and Lou Piniella is going to come out of the Yankee dugout.
You shut off Winfield, Jim, the way the Dodgers have. You shut off a big part of the Yankee attack.
Well, you certainly do, but I think he made a very interesting statement before last night's game. He said, they may get me out, but he said they're going to know that I'm here. And last night he threw Say out, trying to stretch a single into a double. Tonight, in a 1-0 ball game, got to the ball quickly and held Russell to a single.
Yep.
So he can help you in a lot of ways. Remember also that it helps Dave Winfield to have Reggie Jackson batting behind him.
Bobby Welch is up in the Dodger bullpen now, throwing. Rudy May in the New York pen. There's Welch. He's got some heat. Provided us with one of the classic confrontations. Remember that when he struck out Reggie to save a 4-3 win in that one game in Los Angeles back in 77. That's fouled away to the right side, out of play. Lou Piniella hitting for Oscar Gamble. Probably will go in and play right field. Steve Howe, the 3rd Dodger pitcher. Terry Forster certainly did his job. He came in, got a double play. Inside, 1 ball and 1 strike.
92 miles an hour. Piniella, unquestionably, admittedly, a guess hitter, but a very intelligent guess hitter. 2 hits last night.
That'll be out of play on the right side.
said an interesting thing, Jim, before the game tonight. He said, I had one terrible swing last night. I'm ashamed of myself. I was totally fooled. You remember when he was pitch tight and half-heartedly got the ball out to the second baseman? A short pop was called.
That's true. I would say if you're going to try to pitch to Lou Piniella, last night he doubled on a fastball away. Then Royce threw a hanging curveball. He singled a run in by hitting it between third and short. And here it looks like Howe's trying to go inside with his fastball.
Looped out into right center field for a base hit for Piniella.
A professional is a professional is a professional.
Well, this looks to me, it's not a fastball. I think it's a slider. And it's about belt high, and he didn't quite get it in. And Lou hits the belt high pitch pretty well, as you can see.
Piniella now comes off the bases, and Bobby Brown goes out to run for him with much greater speed on the bases, and probably Brown winds up playing right field defensively for New York in the top of the ninth.
Running for Piniella.
Now Greg Nettles.
Number 13, Bobby Brown.
That's Mrs. Howe. Little bit nervous.
Foul back by Nettles for strike one.
Well, Steve had his rookie pitcher of the year last year in the National League, and they always talk about the sophomore Jenks. He came back and had a fine year. One of the mainstays of their bullpen. I would think if the Dodgers have any chance of winning in this World Series, he's going to have to pitch well, especially with the Yankees left-handed hitters.
That's foul back. Edge to Howe, 0-2.
Sophomore Jinx didn't bother you.
I think it did. No, actually, I didn't pitch much my first year. Nobody knew who I was the second year.
Steve is another collegiate player. A lot of collegians showing up in organized baseball these days. More and more and more.
Down talking to Ron Frazier, University of Miami coach. He's a fine baseball player.
Little looper, and it's going to drop in center field. He just reached out and popped it.
Interesting reaction shot.
Well, here's your original check swing. Greg really doesn't want to swing at the ball, but sure now he's fairly happy that he did.
That may get us Bob Welch. Bob Watson is on deck. Tom's walk was not terribly decisive on the way out there. Stewart and Welch in the bullpen. Watson, Cerrone, Randolph coming. But he's, at the moment, I'm sure, more concerned about the upcoming batter, Bob Watson, than anybody else. The plate umpire, Nick Delosi, has gone out there and said, Tom, will you make up your mind? And he's going to make up his mind. Apparently, he's indicating the far man. That would be Stewart. And that's who it is. So Steve Howe is not affected.
You were just looking at Bob Welch. You'll see him before this series is over. This is Stewart coming in.
Ergonomics, the relationship of man to machine, a science practiced in the creation of Chevrolet Cavalier. It provides an inner sanctum of precisely placed instrumentation for immediate readout, and reclining front seats even provide comfort to 6'6" members of the human race. Chevrolet Cavalier, mastery of mind over matter.
Now get bigger savings with even lower 12.9% financing.
Canon presents a new camera.
John, I'm working. Can I have my camera back?
Just one more. It's Canon's new AE1 program.
This new Canon AE1 program's super. Just one more.
No matter how tough the light, the new program mode makes it easy to shoot like a pro.
Here, get to work.
The new AE1 program.
Draw in the ball.
So advanced, it's simple, and more of both. Canon, the official camera of the World Series.
Barter, trade without money, a new way of doing business. Tomorrow on ABC's World News Tonight.
Many have tried, but only one company can give you the sun captured in a light bulb. Durotest, light years ahead, shaping new technologies with caring hands and human ingenuity. Durotest, filling cities and schools with healthful light. Durotest, for longer lasting light. Light that saves energy. And light that shines in harmony with your health. Durotest, light years ahead.
Richard Simmons, tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock.
Dave Stewart, a hard-throwing right-hander, comes on. He is the fourth Los Angeles pitcher. Howe responsible for the two men on the bases for New York. Bobby Brown at second base and Greg Nettles at first base. Stewart pitched an inning last night, and he walked a man, then got a double play. So he was effective last night. Now he's got the pitch to Bobby Watson. Last night, he did not face Watson.
Interesting situation, Jim Palmer. Watson, a hot hitter. Yet the temptation must be there for Lim to perhaps go with Reggie Jackson, which he's not doing. You've still got Revering, who's better defensively at first than Watson. What would you do?
Well, I think that Lemon's reasoning probably is that you have a 1-0 lead. You have Gossage on the mound. Why take a chance of hurting Reggie when you'd like to have him for the third and the fourth, or the fifth, sixth, and seventh games?
There he is, Mr. October, but not yet with a chance to be there.
Well, Bob Watson certainly has not been easy for anybody in these first two games.
He's been a hot hitter,
whether it's left-hander or right-hander.
Well, the statement he made in the morning paper was, when I feel well, I can hit anybody. I think that's very apropos.
All right, the Dodgers are in a pickle again. Yankees leading 1-0 and trying to get some more, and Dave Stewart is high to Bob Watson for ball one. Yankees trying to win these two games on their home field before heading west, or games 3, 4, and 5. That's to the hole. It's past Russell for a base hit. And Brown turns third. He comes to score. Yankees lead it 2-0.
So Lim was exactly right. And Watson continues to be the Yankees hitting hero.
Well, here you see a low fastball. He just hits it. Russell's playing him up the middle. Can't quite get to it. When you have a 300 lifetime batting average after about 17 years, you know you can hit both right-handers and left-handers.
Ball was well hit. And now it's Cerrone at the plate. Yankees now with 6 hits in the ball game. They'll go to second, and he throws the ball into right center field. Bad throw by Stewart, advances the base runner. That's a time play, and they had it timed pretty well. I don't think they really would have been able to get him. Well, it might have been close, huh?
Well, that's what they call a daylight play, when you saw Russell move his glove up and you turn and fire. I think really what you're seeing is Stewart's inexperience. On Watson, threw him a fastball and missed. He throws 95 miles per hour, has excellent ability, but couldn't come back with a breaking ball, and you just...
They'll walk Cerrone intentionally. That loads him up with 1 out and a run in, and Willie Randolph will have a chance. Last time they did this, it worked for them. They got the double play. It's an interesting decision by Tom Lasorda that he didn't come with the more experienced Bob Welch. at the same time, you have to look at Welch in the possible capacity as a starter.
I think that's what he had in the back of his mind. I think if Bert Hooton pitched exceptionally well tonight, would have left with the games tied 0-0 if it wasn't for the error by Lopes. But this is the 4th tough ball game he's had to pitch, and I think he'd probably like to give him an extra day's rest if necessary.
Alejandro Pena is now up in the Los Angeles bullpen. Randolph is in now with the bases loaded and 1 out. And the pitch is low, ball 1. There's the young right-hander Pena.
In this situation, you did not see Randolph go for the first pitch, as Milburn did.
No, this is, as we said before, why Willie Randolph can be a tough out. I said last night it's a mystery how he could hit 232 because he makes you throw strikes. And usually he makes you throw the fastball, and he's a good fastball hitter.
That's lifted to the right side. Guerrero going back to the warning track. That'll score another New York run. For the Yankees as Meadows scores from third. And the Goose comes up with 2 out.
Now this could be funny.
Well, if you go back to the 1979 World Series, which you broadcast, Tim Stoddard got a key hit.
Yes.
For the Orioles.
A ground ball through the left side.
I was astounded.
Yeah.
So was he. He's not getting cheated.
I expect the fir tree to fall any minute.
He's subscribing to the philosophy that you swing hard in case you make contact.
Nothing wrong with that.
Looks doubtful, though.
Strikes him out on 3 pitches. But it's a big enough inning, perhaps, for the Yankees. The Goose's job is to keep the Dodgers at bay in the top of the 9th. New York scores 2 in the bottom of the 8th. And the 2 runs have to go to Steve Howe.
Goose Gossage takes a special kind of mentality, attitude, disposition, whatever, to be a relief pitcher, to come into the kinds of situations that a Gossage has to come into. In this vein, I talked with Goose on this very subject when he knew full well that he might have to get out there again tonight, as he has, the way he did last night. Here we are. There is the problem of coming in, the kinds of situations you invariably have to come into. You now seem so totally inured to it. Is this true? You've got a lot of scar tissue on you.
Well, I think, Howard, that I've always said the tougher the situation, the better I perform. I think that when I'm backed into a corner, I feel that that's when I'm at my best. And I think that Davis, I think that we have the best pitching staff in either league. And I think that our bullpen, I can't say enough for Ron Davis, George Frazier. The whole bullpen has done a great job this year. And Davis really has allowed me to stay strong the whole season. You know, he takes a lot of the burden off of me in those, you know, through the 6th and 7th innings, or the 5th, 6th, and 7th, and allows me to go the 8th and 9th. Anytime that I go 7, 8, and 9, the 3 innings, I find it pretty difficult for me to come back the next day.
Well, interesting point, Jim.
Manager's dream to have 2 pitchers like Ron Davis and Rich Gossage in the same bullpen.
Dusty Baker, Steve Garvey, and Ron Say in the top of the 9th inning for the Dodgers, down 3-0. Strike to Baker. Baker swing roller, first base, Bob Watson. Do it himself. Greg Nettles checked his swing, single to center. Dusty Baker checks the swing, rolls out to first.
Well, here you're going to see Gossage throws primarily fastballs. Here he throws a slider. Baker doesn't react to it very well. Just checks it down to first baseline.
Now it is Steve Garvey. 3-0 Yankees, top of the ninth. Gossage needs 2 outs. Curve ball is inside. That's high and tight. .95-mile-an-hour fastballs. One after another. Garvey fouls it upstairs out of play. That'll make your count 2-2.
Looked like a ball, didn't it, Jim?
Well, he did chase a low pitch. You know, he was taking 2-0. That's why I was surprised that Gossage threw a slider on the first pitch. You would think with 3 runs down that he would know that Garvey would most likely be taking a pitch. The thing is with Gossage, you don't have a whole lot of time when you're up there to make up your mind. You know, you see the ball, and if you don't react, it's by you.
Comes bouncing back, and it's now 3-2.
You talk about determination. That man's face is etched with it. And his face, well, it's like Lasorda says, don't show me Fu Manchu no more.
Garvey walks. Ball comes to the backstop. Steve moves quickly to first and takes a turn. Have a look to see where the ball is, but he'll stay there.
The third baseman, Ron Say.
Now, Ron Say.
Goose manages to keep you aflutter one way or another. Have you noticed that, Jim?
Well, he did last night. He just doesn't seem to be in as good a groove as he did in the playoff series. And I think a reason for that, of course, is, you know, if you go back and look at at least most of the playoff series, they were played in the twilight. When you're playing catch with a catcher, which is basically what he and Davis and Righetti did, you have a lot of confidence.
Inside to Ron Say for ball 1. Incredibly, though, just, you know, that baseball wallows in numbers. Jerry Klein just looked in the book to tell me that the last time there was a 3-0 shutout in the World Series game, strike, was way back in 1958 when Lawrence Vaughn then with Milwaukee beat the Yankees 3-0. That seems incredible, but I suppose the movement of numbers could account for that period of time. That's fouled away.
Interesting to know how many shutouts there have been in the World Series.
Well, the last shutout was when? 1979?
Did I pitch? I mean, I didn't pitch it. I mean, I was there. I mean,
79. 1-2 to Say. Strike 3 on a curveball.
He was just completely outguessed.
Well, that's true. You saw Baker check his swing on a slider. And here, he waits for it for the break. When he does, Cerrone catches it.
Now it's down to this man, Pedro Guerrero. And the pitch is low to Pedro for ball 1.
Well, really what you're seeing is Gossage throws 95 miles per hour. About the only comparable guy in the National League is Nolan Ryan, who has an excellent curveball to go with that fastball. So that's why Nolan has the 5 no-hitters and all the strikeouts he has.
Play upon the faces of the 2 managers and Mrs. Gossage right back. Picture study telling the story in the situation.
That's inside. That fastball he brought into Guerrero a moment ago was clocked on the Judge gun at 98. A Feller-esque fastball. Out of play.
Instead, they stand as one now, imploring the Goose for the strikeout.
Got him. The Yankees win 3-0. Lead in the World Series 2 games